Good morning. Good morning, Bear. How you doing? Final check. Okay. I'm gonna check and make sure that things are actually getting exported over to YouTube. 'Cause I have a feeling that sometimes it misses some. Oh, actually, it looks like it's there. All right. That's a quick check. To YouTube. Yes, Bear did. The CyberDev Bear is there. Actually, there was a couple of lurkers that got there early. Hello. Good morning. uh, Basically, right now, I'm going to bring this giant white screen over here. It's going through to see how many videos I'd actually uploaded to YouTube. Because I know I missed some. Oh, and I got like crazy, crazy hair going on. My hair is way too long. You can't see the numbers as they're behind my head down here. 339, 372. Wow. Are there really that many? I mean, mostly it's just, okay, so 372 videos there. So even if they were like 2 hours each, which they're not, often more than that. It's like over 1,000 hours. Maybe 1,500. Anyhow, my own personal curiosity moment. Okay. So one thing that I was thinking about last night was that what was kind of the issue that we were having yesterday, right? Where we end up making a request to the KV store just to be able to check to see if this route should be solved or handled here, or if this one should be handled. Um, they're both requests to the KV store, different namespaces in the KV store, and I don't think I can do that in one request, but let's see. Whoa. Let's fix that. Should be on here. KV. There's put. I want to see if I can get more than one at a time. Reading key value pairs. You can get with metadata. And you can delete. Okay. Oh, list is interesting. Oh, but it's in the same namespace. A little Rust joke there. All right. Well, there might be another way to kind of optimize this too. The other thing I wanted to try was cache. We're going to read just a little bit about cache. The Cache API allows fine-grained control of reading and writing from cache. The Cache API is available globally, but the contents of the cache do not replicate outside of the originating data center. A get/users response can be cached in the originating data center, but will not exist in other data center unless it has been explicitly created. Any Cache API operation in the Cloudflare Workers dashboard editor and playground preview will have no impact. Okay. Only deployed live workers have access to live cache operations. Gotcha. Okay. The cache is not default. I wonder how much faster this is than KV. Like, should we be putting stuff in the cache? Let's click on that link on how it works. I'm gonna bump up the font. There we go. All right. Since Workers was built, I don't know, it always feels like was built atop Cloudflare's networks. Since its early days, it was designed to allow developers to interact directly with Cloudflare's Cloudflare, Cloudflare's cache. The cache can provide ephemeral co-local storage or colo-local storage as a convenient way to frequently access static or dynamic content. By allowing developers to write to the cache, workers provide a way to customize cache behavior on Cloudflare's CDN. To learn about the benefits of caching, see our Learning Center's article on what is caching. Since Cloudflare's workers can run before and after the cache, a worker can also be utilized to modify assets once they are returned from the cache to assign or personalize responses while reducing load on an origin or latency to the end user by serving assets from a nearby location. For CPUs before Cloudflare, yes. Rock in my shoe. Conceptually, there are two ways to interact with Cloudflare's cache using a worker. Well, to fetch in a worker script, request proxied through Cloudflare are cached even without workers according to the zone's default or configured behavior. For example, static access like files ending in .jpg are cached by default. Workers can further customize this behavior by setting Cloudflare cache rules operating on the CF object of a request. Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. Store responses using the cache API from a worker script. This allows caching responses that did not come from an origin and also provides finer control by customizing cache behavior of any asset by setting headers such as cache control on the response passed to cache.put. Caching responses generated by the worker itself through cache.put. Edge versus browser cache. Oh, actually, I forgot to set that one today. Thank you for checking. Let's see. Um, the browser cache is controlled through the cache control header sent in the response to the eyeball. The response passed or promised to event.respond with. Right. Workers can customize browser cache behavior by setting this header on the response. We won't discuss in this article, but other means to control Cloudflare's cache include page rules and Cloudflare cache settings. Okay. For requests where workers are behaving as middleware, they are sending a sub request via fetch. It is recommended to use fetch. This is because pre-existing settings are in place that optimize caching while preventing unintended dynamic caching. For projects where there is no backend, the cache API is the only option to customize caching. Okay. In the context of workers, a fetch provided by the runtime communicates with the Cloudflare cache. First, fetch checks to see if the URL matches a different zone. If it does, it reads through that zone's cache or worker. Otherwise, it reads through its own zone's cache, even if the URL is a non-Cloudflare site. Cache settings on Fetch automatically apply caching rules based on your Cloudflare settings. Fetch does not allow you to modify or inspect objects before they reach the cache, but does allow you to modify how it will cache. Okay. When to use the cache. Who you need to read from cache without calling fetch. Oh, that's interesting. You can access the default cache, the same cache shared with fetch requests, by accessing caches.default. You can access a namespace cache, like cache equals await caches.open cache name. Such as parsing HTML or running a computation to store them locally in a colo and readily access them on the following request, rather than having to rerun the same operation. Okay, caches.open is async unlike caches.default. Well, that's interesting. So we could use something like this, but because these are independent per colo, that could cause issues if we use them for the wrong thing. Huh. Okay. Let's go back and look at the cache API. So you can put something into the cache, request response. I'm thinking about statics here. Like with statics, we might be able to tell a little bit quicker that something doesn't match. Because we should be able to get it out of the KV, toss it into the cache. I don't know when or how things will get bumped out, though. Johannes, good morning. Yes. All right. Match. Returns a promise wrapping the response object keyed to that request. Hmm. Ignore method. Unlike the browser cache API, Cloudflare workers do not support the ignore search or ignore vary options on match. Okay. Range. Interesting. So they actually respect range for their cache stuff. Wow. Okay, delete something from the cache. So this one has 2 awaits. This one doesn't. And I don't really know how, like, awaiting in Cloudflare workers, is that a slow operation? I don't have a good sense of that. All right. So there might be something there, but we're still awaiting to know whether or not the match happens. I wonder here. Um, Coding help. All right, we'll toss that out there and see if anybody can help us with that. All right. So there's that sort of meandering thought. I mean, if they come back and say, "Oh, you know what, Cache is just a really specialized KV. There's no performance difference," eh, we'll have to do something else. Um, well, then basically we don't have to change anything because we're already using KV. But if they say Cache is faster, then we might actually stuff some things into Cache. Okay. The other thing that we're doing here is we're making a request to KV here. And if that fails, we do this one. Actually, it's the other way around. Because I think we swapped it down here. How's our font size today? We got 32 on screen. Okay. Um, See, I wish there was a quick way to be able to say yes or no that this did actually happen. Like something did exist in KV. And cache might be a good way to do that, but I'm not certain. Because maybe check cache here. All right, do we have something before we even get to the requests? Okay. The other thing that we could be doing here is building up a futures unordered. So if we did pull in a futures unordered, you could basically stuff each and every one of those into that. And then the first one that actually responds with a success wins. Because most of these are going to return unhandled. Because the routes, they don't overlap. Right? Most don't. Two of them do. It's going to be pages.get and statics. Here, get UI. Let's have a clean slate here. Okay. Do I know anyone who does fan mail? What is it? Oh, it got clipped. Aw. Send him your poo. I have no idea if anybody does that. But I definitely don't want to do fan mail now. Oh, common design patterns in Rust on YouTube. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I wonder, did it's the cyber dev? Um, Because I wonder if John's book actually covered a bit of that. Let me see. Wait, maybe. That would be interesting. Actually, that'd be really interesting. Huh. I mean, that's like wide open space. There are so many. Just some common ones. 3,000 points for a nice 45-minute talk. Yeah, I just don't. Let me think about that one. Let me think about that one. You know what? I'm going to put like a consider here. Something like this. Modprog, good morning and welcome, Raiders. Oh, CyberDev, let's keep it on topic, man. And to be fair, people are probably doing that anyways just by licking the envelope. You had some fun working on your SVG extension? Nice. Nice. I actually popped into your channel earlier today. I didn't say anything, I was just lurking. But while I was getting ready, I was in your stream. Wait, am I actually using arrows? Oh, here? It's because where it is on my keyboard, right? Actually, um, JK goes up and down, and right below that I have left and right. So I can control with my left hand, or left and right. On my right hand, right, is J and P. I actually have to look because I don't know what the keys are. And then up and down is on my right hand. So I can actually configure, I can navigate entirely left-handed or entirely right-handed because of where the arrows are split. Right. So you got the arrows down here and down here. Ah, man, Mr. Halsey. Well, it just depends. Like, do I want to be able to navigate, left-handed, right-handed? Don't even think about it. Use WASD like a real gamer? Yeah. For me, WASD is comma AOE. Yeah, we're going to try to use futures ordered again. Just for fun. I want to just see. Because each and every one of these returns a future that ends up eventually getting handled. All right. So we have our page routes, static routes, session routes, admin routes. Each and every one of these routes goes into this run router, right? Which then returns a future, or it just directly says, I don't handle this, right? The sourdough. Today I was at the bank and an old lady behind me asked me to check her balance. So I pushed her over. Still a little hot. For us, it's nice and cool in the morning and it's hot in the evening. So it's hard to get to bed right now because it's just so warm. And we just don't have AC or anything like that. Actually, I'm going to close the door before it heats up too much. Give me a moment. Oh, it's 1600? Probably the warmest time. Yeah. Today you had a procrastination training at work. Hopefully it could be recorded so I can watch it later. Oh, those are good. I'll toss that one in there too. Wait, this is alphabetic. There we go. Welcome to the board. And the cyber dive. Let's grab this one. Huh, there we go. You had to stop sharing jokes. You had so many. You do have a few. You a Musean. Yeah, that and this here, right? That's why can't you tell egg jokes? Because they crack up too easily. All right. Scroll when I got to it, yes. So I feel like we should go through each and every one of those, store the results of these. Just going to do that down here. Actually, right here. So it's handled or it's not handled. It's not handled, we pass it forward. Oh, that's right, because each and every one of these owns that, instead of us actually copying the event. This event is not, well, cloning the event. Because it's not clone. It's not going to be copy. Post data. That, well, that's the state. We were reusing something there. That should be copy. And then cookie jar, it's already there. So we could clone this. Oops. Hey, and welcome. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Brooke, how is everything? How was your weekend? You have a good stream? In the cyberdev, we really don't do dirty jokes. So we do bad jokes and mostly punny things. You're getting a timeout, buddy. Sorry. You had a good weekend? That's pretty cool. A little bit of refactoring, lots of progress. That's really cool. That's really cool. We're trying to do a little bit of an optimization. So down here in our library, where we end up like our route handler, we basically need to run each and every route. Well, it's basically a trade-off between something being async and not. And if it's async, then we need to clone the event and pass it on to the next one and store the async future and then poll it. So it's kind of like a kind of shotgun approach where we send out a lot of requests to the back end because we don't know exactly which one of these routes is going to be resolved. So we've got this run router here, right? And we're looping over each and every one of these routes. The route can either return an event saying, hey, this was handled or not, right? But really, this is hiding one little piece in here, right? Run router is. Run router is hiding the fact that there's a future being awaited. So we need to basically move this out. Oops, wrong space. Back into lib, down at the bottom here. What does router do again? It ends up checking to see one at a time whether or not a route matches. And if it does, okay. If it doesn't, we skip it and continue. Now these are the very outside pieces, right? Like what's a good one? Pages. It's actually a poor one. Let's go to admin users. Here, this is a good one, right? It's checking to see, does it match these? Is the method the same? Does the path potentially match? Um, and if it gets past this part here, then there's another layer where we could say, no, 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 this didn't match, right? So, and that would be a future result. So there's two layers. The first, just going through, checking to see, does it match straight up? And if it does, then we get a future out of it. If there's more than one that matches, then we need to clone the response. Let's go back into lib. Fill match arms there. So we have handled or not handled. If it's not handled, that's fine. We're going to keep the event. Let's see what. I'm going to comment out this section here. Yeah, in this case, we end up assigning this locally. For each one of these, actually, we're going to do an optimization later. This is a do nothing. And this here, oh no. I had to clear the room. Your dog. She doesn't usually do that. What are you feeding her? Did she catch that squirrel finally? Good morning, Voidcom Phil. Now, event clone. Go ahead and clone that. If it's handled, we get a future, right? Then in here somewhere, we actually have to await the future. But we're not going to do that here. We are going to store that. So matched futures is going to be equals to futures ordered or unordered. I'm going to say unordered in this case because I don't think that it matters which one we have first. Okay, we'll get to that. We end up pushing future. Okay. All right. So then we have that. Here, there. I'll use the... Now you got me thinking about which keys I'm using to scroll up and down with. Okay. Normally I don't even think about it. So we have all of those. And then at this point... No, you can't. Good catch. It's saying it doesn't need to be mutable. Oh, did they? Now let's go to the push on that. They might have interior mutability on this. Yes, they do. So they're basically in this pattern in Rust. You have something internally that you're wrapping in like mutex and whatnot. They end up using some sort of unsafe cell to guard this. So yeah, Futures is doing a little bit of magic there for interior mutability. All right, Brooke. Well, thank you for coming in and rating us. Have a good Monday, man. So if it's not handled, we get our event back out. We're going to ignore that for a moment. At this point down here, we need to loop on matched futures, awaiting the one that's going to be the match, the one that succeeds. Because most often, most of these are going to just return not handled, just right away. Right, so we don't even have to push them into that. So match futures dot next. It's a stream. Oh, let's try this. Ah, that's not what I was thinking. All right. Well, it's whatever the result is equal to that. We'll do something in here. What is the type on this? Do they not know? Oh, yep. Import that trait. Futures unordered. Pin box futures. Output as a result. Okay, so our output here is a result of a router result. So we should be able to match on res. That's going to be an OK or an error. Okay, something. Oh, we have to await that. There we go. Now we need it to be mutable. Once we're starting to use the stream operations on it. Oh yeah, no idea about that. That was the interior mutability, right? There are a couple of crates that do that a lot. Oh, they responded. I'm not sure about performance, but they have one important difference. Workers' KV is eventually consistent while Workers' cache does not sync across locations. All right. Dvorak, yes, Dvorak. It's left hand. ASDF, yeah. Uh, I saw the Colo specific docs. Colo space specific. There we go. Okay. Now in this case, we have a router result, which we get to match on. So that they guess at the mapping. Yeah. Oh, you monster. So if it is handled by something, we're going to return that and not keep looking for the next one. Event. And in this case, we do event.try into. So this is actually this code here. And what do we do with an error here? Maybe. I don't think this has actually happened very often. Just toss that on there. Just for fun. Make sure it's handled. A WordPress without servers. You have any idea how much revenue would be lost? I don't know. I mean, maybe they would just maybe maybe they would buy me out. So I mean, for me, that's still a win. You know, if they pay me $5 million and throw away the project and just bury it because it's too much of a risk for them, that's a win in my book. I learned Rust for $5 million. You know, that's where you make a stand. Means you're onto something. That's right. That's right. All right. I think this might actually work. Oh, the tray-bound body clone. Body and headers. Yeah, that's a lot. I can imagine. And that's one of the reasons where I definitely want to try something like this. Is there's definitely some ability there. There's a market there. Okay, anything else? Ooh, variable does not need to be mutable. That's because we're cloning it. Anything else? No, those are all good. Good morning, Dota, too. All right. Let's see if this runs. Hopefully we'll get the same exact response. We have two tests we can do. We can get the users list, and then we can also get the a static image, right? Like our um, favicon, like the favicon. That's not a lot. You're glad you're not programming in WordPress? One that doesn't need your service would be very bad. Uh, it's not like the market would move overnight. All right. Oh, page not found because we have the little slash at the end. Okay. But navigation here, let's bump up the font there. And here, we're going to do that again. Refresh. Right? 102 milliseconds, not bad. It's 154. Yep. Little variance. 351. Wow. 104 seems to be our lowest so far. Now let's go to the favicon. 390. Timing 0. Oh, it's in the cache. Disable cache. 84, 82. You know, that's that's really decent. Okay. Now we're going to optimize it. Let's get rid of this piece. We've already folded that in. Basically, what we're going to do is if something ends up being handled, we need to clone an event, right? We need to clone the original one. Or how would we do that? So we could either have a second one. Okay. Cached event. Some. Event.clone. Then we'll take it here. Cached event.take. Uh, we're going to make sure that it always exists, basically. You remember being able to code without xdebug because the call stacks was a minimum of 8 calls deep? Good morning, Game Dev Unknown. It works like Actix? Yes. It's got a feel to that, yeah, where you have routes. And to me, it's inspired um by Rocket. Actually, the router handler. Actually, it started out as the Actix one. All right, so we're gonna take that. We get the future. If we get the future, we actually have to cached event. It's going to be insert. We have to put that back because in this case, it got used. It's stuck in that future. In this other case, we get one out and we do not have to reallocate that. We can just insert it back in. So we only end up allocating if something could possibly use it. All right. Fewer clones. I think we end up doing one extra clone. It's kind of the cost, though. Right, let's try it again. Make sure it still works. Fruitfly managed to find its way into your screen. Don't die there, bro. Oh, into your screen. Ew. Little. Once it's in, it's in. Your thing is like this. The problem is how they find them. How to find a way that the web server only accepts Godot connections. um, yeah, that's a tough one. Dead pixel fly at the edge is probably nicer than dead center. Uh, oh, that's. I mean, that can't really happen, can it? Here, reload that. 217, 225, 224. See, that's actually slower. Wow, why is that? Can't be slower. I'm gonna try doing this again. It feels like I ended up in a different colo or something. What was that other CDN CGI trace this year? We'll run that. Okay, Colo Seattle. back, reload. Interesting that this has gotten slower. So if I disable cache, it takes longer. No, that one didn't. 241, 169, 102. It's kind of all over the place, but it's still working. And I know it's using fewer. Yeah, 82. Then it could be a cheater dot. I mean, what? How does that work mechanically? Where do these things die? What kind of screen is it? I mean, I've got just like LCD panels. What are you guys using? Good morning, Xenocron. Good morning. Oh, and I've been missing follows. So where's Mitch? Oh, Mitch died. Now I'm gonna butcher some names here. Is this Sardilior? Thank you for the follow. Oh, Paulin RD, RSVL. Thank you for the follow. I'm butchering it. All right, and is that Vignesh Warar? Thank you for the follow. OLED screen made from dead flies. Organic light emitting fireflies. You just attach tiny little electrodes to them. And oh, the color, the brightness. All right. So future route result. It's a pin box future. Where the output is a result to a router result. Okay. Yeah. Morning, Turbo Dave. Well, that kind of works. I don't know that it saves us that much yet, but it was definitely fun. I like that. That was cool. Because now we have this futures ordered. I think it solves the kind of race condition between, um, like which one of these is going to win, right? Is it one or the other? Is it you know, we're not preferring pages over static routes now, right? They both get a chance. Let's make a comment there. And if future is unordered. Hmm. Okay. Now routes here. I wonder if there's a way that we can set this up so it's not doing this every single time, right? Because this is a proc macro. So these things exist outside. They're basically const, right? And we should be able to make this const so we don't have to set this up on every request. Can we actually put this outside here, right? Or can we have a const function that returns it? It's basically going to return this. Missing a lifetime specifier. Static. Oh, look at that. Hmm. Expected function found. Oh. Great bounds, other than size, and constant function parameters are unstable. Oh, what is it talking about? Hey, Jeremy, how you doing? Philly cheesesteak time. I'm just returning an array. Why is this? What trait bounds are there? So what do we have here? Here, we have page routes. Can I not do it this way? Do I have to do it outside of a const function? That would be weird, but maybe. How do we change that to shouty snake case? Um, Deep hope. Abolish. Substitution. Coercion. Uppercase. CRU. Ah. Oops. There we go. CRU. Missing type for const item. Yes. Okay. Now, what is the type on this? These are const routes. I think it's this type here. Interesting. It's odd. Why don't we have to provide the size on those? Dusty Posy. Good morning. Good day, sir. The size. Yes. Is it because one? The other one probably would have worked. Also, the const function. Hmm. I think I'd want this in a const function. Oh, 1 and then 4. No. Mismatch type. Expected array. Found reference. Okay. So that's static now. I should be able to optimize that a little bit more. I mean, hopefully it was doing that already, right? I was seeing a lot of these things that were static, and hopefully it wasn't creating anything special. All right. If this works, then we're going to take that one step further into a function, a const function, which, I mean, this should work. This should just work. All right. Sorry. Going back to our conversation from earlier. What? But how does it get there? How is that on top of the screen or behind the screen? That's insane. That's behind. No way. I thought those things were enclosed. See, that's why you need like you need a dark viewer or something so that you just don't notice it crawling around. Oh. I mean, can you get like some compressed air and blow it out or something? They're sealed. Something gets through the seal. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so sorry. That's awful. I am just, I am so surprised that that's even a thing. All right. Just reloading a couple times. It's kind of all over the place. See, now we're going to LAX. So we ended up in a different colo. And that's why the size difference. Or the timing difference. And these are going to take longer. Yeah. Because now it's in LAX. And that makes sense. Okay, it does work. Now we're going to do like we said and make a const function. Oh, it's function routes. Routins, routes. Mismatch types. Oh. Oh. Yeah, because it doesn't know the size of these now. Oh, wow. So we can't do it this way. The ad before the stream was talking about defying logic. A lot of farmers would completely agree with you. The answer is just not to have the fruit flies. All right, well, that's not going to work then. It's not going to work because we can't provide a size to this inner array here because they are different sizes. They're not all the same size. So that just doesn't work. Undo, undo, undo. Is that it? There. Hmm. That's too bad. Oh well. I wonder how many are actually getting in there. I think just 2 are getting in there for futures ordered. Hmm. Okay. Well, clone, clone. Yep, those. Static routes and oh no. Oh, it saved it using static routes and futures unordered. There we go. Okay. So next we're going to work on features. Features. We're going to put the navigation here. And we have to actually start using this, like the permissions we've been building up. Where's permissions? So models permissions is create, edit, and delete users. So we should actually try to use these now that we have login working. And login has signed cookies and permissions. All right, let's get that working because that is very, very needed. But if we jump ahead a couple steps and we think through this, we have a bootstrap problem. How do you create users if you need permissions to create users? Because you can't create a user unless you have permissions to create a user, but there are no users. We can check to see, are there any users? And allow just anybody into the admin console. Or... a default user? Allow everybody? I mean, both are basically the same answer, right? Because allow everybody is basically the same thing as a default user, because everybody knows the default password for the default user, which is an allow everybody, right? So maybe there is some sort of setup route where you're allowed to create your first user. And Mitch is back in the game. Hi. Dev Extreme, thank you for the follow. Default user with mandatory password change on first login. How does WordPress handle this problem? I've seen it with a couple different systems. Either when you do the scripts on the server to install PHP and to initialize PHP, they'll generate a random password and just hand it to you. Right. Yeah. Yeah, what I'm thinking is that we have some sort of like a setup page, right? Like admin/install or something, right? And this route asks you all of the necessary information for setting it up, right? What is your first user's name? What is your domain name? What, maybe what theme are you choosing? Stuff like that. And after you've set up your first user and you can get into the admin panel with all of the absolutely necessary fields filled in, you can go in and start to customize and do the rest of it. I'm leaning in that direction because you can basically, well, you can rely on something not being known, right, and only working one time. So we could create a little admin install page. See, I've been using users to do all the routing here. Well, all the admin routing. Source pages. Oh, that's interesting. Could we even delete it from the key value store? Actually, we could just absolutely delete this entry from the key value store. Here, let me show you. Oh, this is cool. We're going to create a new file. Pages admin dot. Am I going to handle that case? No. Basically, the install screen, right? That first page that asks you the minimum number of questions, absolute minimum number of questions to get you set up. I mean, I'm thinking like five questions and that's it. And then that page is gone forever. So if we call it admin setup.json and we go to like something else, setup language is okay. Description. And if they get hacked, we basically just, reset it. That should be easy enough. All right. So we'll have this, and this will end up existing in the key value store. Okay. And the last thing that this admin setup can do is delete itself from the KV store. Does that actually solve the problem, though? Not quite. Because this thing's going to be posting to some route, and that route, let's say it's like /admin/setup, and that'll just have to check to see if there are any users. That's fine. All right, so let's do that. Now we have admin.rs. Gonna bootstrap that via something here. So we'll be posting to this location. And we'll say that, yes, we handled that like a pro. Okay. Now for the page. Oh, what font is this? This is Fura code. Let's see. Yes, Fura code. Okay. So we're setting up a new route for that. We also need a new page for that. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So we need a template. Let's work on the template next, and the template will then post to this. As far as templates, admin setup. Oh, that's right. We entirely changed the way that our routes work. I really like the new method. Oh, here, let's grab Flash. All right, here's admin setup. It's got a future. It's got a templates mod, hub mod, yada yada. Okay. Then we go to pages. No, the other one. Page model page. Admin setup. It doesn't even need a route, does it? An event. Oh, it does. No, no, no. This is just for generating the HTML. I don't think it needs it. Okay. Let's go to that function. No. We need a basic form. So user form. Post to admin setup. What is our first field going to be? We should probably have some text. Welcome to mimeograph. I think all we need is the user at the moment. So like we just need to be able to set up the very first user. All right. We need our documentation for Bulma. We're using Bulma for our CSS. Now, I'm looking for text. Form layout helpers. Do they have common text setup? Columns, basics, elements, typography. Where's your typography? Components. All right, maybe not. I'm brand new to Bulma, so. Bulma only styles generic tags directly, twice. Modularity, responsiveness, colors. They have colors. All right. No idea. Tiles. Helpers. Oh, typography is under helpers. Huh, that makes sense. So we can use size, yada yada. Responsive size. Interesting. Alignment. Responsive alignment. Interesting. Text transform. Yeah. Weight, font family. Do I use the CSS framework? We switched from using our own in-house framework to using Material UI. I'm not a huge fan of Material UI. Everything done in Material, like you go to a Material UI website, you know it's done in Material UI. They all feel like the same website. Even if you do theming and all that stuff. And I think my biggest gripe with Material UI is how they end up doing you end up having to know about the internals of Material UI to get the styling that you need to override. They do provide an escape hatch for styling things, but you end up using the escape hatch much too often. I think that's my biggest gripe with them. See, if we were just like writing straight up CSS, it'd be like, woo, we'd just be going. But we're not. All right. So I want to kind of keep to these so that if we're doing like some sort of theming, all of this stuff is going to be modifiable in our theme. All right, so let's do like a is size 2 for this. Yeah, our design team wants to use it, so it's their choice. Tailwind all the way. I would love to be able to try out Tailwind. I started out with this thinking, oh, we're going to use Tailwind, Tailwind, Tailwind. But no. Oh, you know what? They also have a message here. Message is kind of cool. Could do a little modal thing. Trying to figure out what we want to use here. Oh, I've got a minor interruption down here. Hold on a sec. All right, we're back. Gotta pour some water. There we go. Next. Oh, we've got panel. Panel, that's kind of neat up at the top. Could do that. Oh, you know what? Let's do that. I like panel. That's neat. What else do we have? Card? No, it's not really a card. Pagination. No, elements. What else we got? Button icon, notification, table, tag, title. What's a title? Oh, interesting. Class title. Am I using Rust for web? I am. And so Zathras, we're actually working on a project called mimeograph. And mimeograph is doing server-side rendering. Okay. So we're using Rust to generate HTML that is then sent to the browser. I'm just having fun with this for a moment, exploring the components. That's like the hardest part, getting into a new CSS framework. It's like, well, what do they have? Right? Yeah, we're gonna use panel for this. I think that'd be fun. All right, little panel, small questions, mimeograph setup. Now, I think they're using div for this. Oh, they're actually using nav for this. I mean, this is the part we're looking at. Panel heading, panel block. Hmm. I don't know that. Wait, nav isn't specific here, so we just use a div. Div panel. Uh, when eyelashes attack. Or better. All right, now inside of the panel, paragraph tab. Let's see, we have panel heading. Mimeograph setup. Now we have some sort of div. Panel body. It's going to be a form. We do need an email and a password. That's why I grabbed this one. I don't think we need anything else though. We need some buttons. Okay. Unexpected end of input. Well, that's too bad. Huh. I wonder why. Why do we have the end of input? So if we're generating HTML on the server, why not generate CSS on the server? By that you mean, why not rewrite Tailwind in Rust? That might be a V2. And if we're going that route, I think we're more likely to. Yeah, I think we're more likely to actually do the theming of Bulma via this. Excuse me. What are the main advantages of having it render on the server rather than browser? SEO? Um, there's a couple. You don't have to download some big app like a ton of JavaScript just to be able to render the page. Right? You end up going to so many sites nowadays where you're downloading, 300 kilobytes of JavaScript, and then you get to see the page. Right? I want it to be just there, right there. Um, so I want it to be responsive and quick. Now inside of the panel body here, Yeah, I just don't want a single page application. I don't, I'm just not a big fan of them, even though that's what I write all day long. You end up having state issues and all sorts of stuff that you could get around just by going to the next page. And I think most people when they go to a website, like most websites that you go to for content and documentation or entertainment, whatever it is, how long do you actually spend on the site, right? Um, so many of these smaller websites, you go to the website, you're not investing in the website, right? So why fill up your cache with hundreds of kilobytes of JavaScript that you're not going to use because you're not going to come back in time for that cache to still be valid? I think there's lots of little things like that. And even though I think we're like downloading a ton of stuff already. So for me, here, let's clear this. If I go to the first page, oh, it's off. Let's run it again. I think we're downloading too much stuff already, but that and the code's not compiling. All right, why is the code not compiling? Oh, actually, it's a different kind of error. Here we go. This error originates in HTML. Unexpected end of input. Oh, oh, I see it. It's because of this. This needs to be in quotes or, yes, we don't have user. Okay. Hey, Thomas9092, thank you for that. All right, let's have a little bit of text up above this. It's also going to be a paragraph tag. And what do we want this for in with relation to typography, helpers, typography? Let's say this is size 3. Create your create no. It's the owner of the account. Set up the user that owns the account. Is it confused about that? Oh, it's not. Found end of macro arguments. Panel heading. Does this need to be in that? No. See, I thought it was okay until we added this. Okay, what's wrong with this? Oh, because of the number, the -3. There we go. Yeah, we got that -3 in there, so we need the double quotes. Otherwise, it thinks that it's actually doing math, I'm guessing. Okay, let's run it. Oh, first, upload, development. Commander Thrashton. Can't do nothing today? Alright, man. Oh, you're kind of looking for a job cycle. Well, I hope that's going well. Any promising outlooks? Meh. That sucks. What's my job? Do I think working in an online store is good? Like for an online store? Like Amazon? Probably. There's lots of little stores, right? Lots of custom stuff. Russian Amazon? Yeah, probably. Right? Consistent work. Then when you get into a website that's a large enough, the things that you need to do are can be actually very interesting, right? When you get to a scale that's very large, things become hard. I work for a messaging company. That's all I'm gonna. Um, yeah, I don't talk about my gig on, but I'm happy to talk about it offline. Let's see, Flexbox has. Yeah, I want something that's narrow. So I want something more along the lines of this. Actually, I'd like it even smaller. He's secretly working for Telegram. See, what's hero? Let's look and see what hero is. Oh, ew. Yeah, that's like definitely the hero. Gigantic heroes. Okay. That I don't find all that interesting. How about section? Hmm. Yeah. No, footer tiles. I mean, it's almost a tile. How about is 3/4? So we could do columns. Basically, center it. Actually, I just want something that's centered on the screen. Other. Oh, wow. Basically, I just want something kind of centered in the page. See, their filter, I do not find helpful at all. Feels like containers should be the one I'm using. Maybe we'll go with this route. Now let's try that. Can I toss that on the same thing? I mean, it's a panel and a container? Or maybe. Oh, it aborted. In the meantime, you can be Polish or something. You're eating. Oh, you guys. It's funny. Turn the dark reader off for a moment. Hmm. Oh, I see. Oh, that's not too bad. It's still quite a bit too wide for this form. Even if we did bring in the padding on this section here, I still think it's too wide. Here, let's try that though. Come back over to Bulma. Helpers, spacing, suffix. Interesting. Hmm. So if we tossed something on there, here I want to try. Come back here. All right, there's our developer tools for it. Oops. Now if we select section in here, do we want it to be on the... I guess that is in the form. I don't want to add a new rule. We just want to add this. That's class. That's my day job. poking through there. React. Even if we'd add a little bit of spacing on that. We'll probably go more than that, huh? 5. And why is the bottom spacing so small? That's odd. Huh. It's weird because the form. Oh, we are using margin. I wonder if the margin is collapsing. Yeah, it is. Okay. Basically, if you have two margins up against each other, it's whatever the one works. Oh, the music. By all means. Doing front end? Yeah, but from the back end. That's right. The music. We are currently listening to Pretzel Rocks, and we're on the synthwave station. All right, so we'll have a padding 5 on there. It looks a little bit better. It's still really wide. I'm not content with that. I know that it's supposed to like adjust, so it looks good here. Like on mobile, nobody's gonna do that on mobile. Set up your new account on your mobile device. No. I mean, it's possible, so we should say it's not gonna be done. But really, I don't really like that. Whatever we used, container. What are options on columns? Because we could do kind of like a multi-column setup to get things centered in the page. What's content? Yeah. That's an odd behavior there. Could be a direct child of maybe a section. Okay. What section? Layout section. And this just adds vertical space around it. It does have media breakpoints. It does. Smartwatch. Oh my goodness. I mean, it feels like we're kind of stuck with container here. I want like a more narrow container. And you can see that it's full width below a certain size. All right, let's look in the helpers again. Spacing, flexbox, other. Oh, that's interesting. That's neat. other. I know I'm just spending way too much time on this. It's going to be like the first thing somebody sees, though. I'm trying to get that set up to be a little bit nicer. All right, let's just add some padding around the margin on the outside of that. So here, M5. Oh, that killed our margin on that because MT5. There, got a little more. MT6. Oh, that works. All right. Maybe is have? Oh, on the container. Was there an is have? I missed that. Is that in is that in helpers? Other. Bulma.dev. Let's see, this is on grid. So when we have columns, is have desktop. Oh, interesting. So yeah, if we ended up using a grid instead. Hmm. All right, let's try a grid actually. So we're going to need to know how to do this. So in Bulma, all Bulma class list. Oh, wow, look at that. Well, okay, so there's a decent search for this. So we were over here on bulma.io, not bulma.dev. Okay, what's the difference between bulma.dev and bulma.io? Hmm. Create Bulma templates in minutes. That's fantastic. Okay. To the grid. All right, where is the grid? Columns. Basics. Sizes. Is have. Hmm. 12 column system. Yes. Offset. All right, let's do that. So we have columns as the container. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. Columns. Because we need to do that twice now. Have an empty one. is have credentials, credit card number, and your social security number. It's that easy, right? I thought we saw over here is have desktop. Responsive. Oh, is that on the next page under responsiveness? Is desktop. Yeah. Okay. And then we can also, on this, so we only want this on desktop. No, that's fine. I need a space there, though. There's that one. I feel like I'm off by one here. There. All right, we'll try that. You meant the sign for the. Oh yeah, the template pulling page. Extreme ladder. Ah, that's all right. All right, so there we go. Now, in this case, once that builds, let's check it again. Because hopefully that squeezes that in. So far, I like the aesthetics here. I think we could have a little bit more space between this here and the next section. So we'll probably toss something on there for that. Come on, waiting for listening down below. There we go. We got it. Oh, look at that. That is much better. Whoa. Maybe we just do toss his desktop on there. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that in here. All right. Yeah, it breaks earlier. That's fine. Instead of getting too squeezed. That's okay. Is there a pad left on the H1? No. I don't think there's a pad 1 there on the left. I think for this, if we added a little bit more space underneath this. Maybe like a 2 or a 3 here. Yeah, I think these are actually, yeah, there you can see that line. The blue line is just, yeah, that's good. Then I want the button on the right side. Nesting, gap. We don't really need the gap. Options. Vertical alignment. Multi-line. Centering columns. Well, you can use empty columns to create horizontal columns around. Okay. You can also use is centered on the parent dot columns element. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's nice. So we get rid of our extra little columns. That one. And that one. Hey, Dusty Posy. Well, thank you for that sub. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are buying me coffee. Just for being annoyed? Annoying. So we just toss it is centered on that. Huh. Nice. Is there anything else we would need on there? You thought you had to give back. Oh, well, thank you. Got all my tabs confused. Okay. Try again. It's centered. Now, hopefully, without the extra little the empty ones. Okay, good. It's nice and clean there. And then it breaks there. I mean, it's going to be a little wide on a tablet. Container is max. Okay. Let's test that out here. I guess we could leave that. And that breakpoint actually looks a little bit better to me. Then we could make that text smaller as it gets smaller. That's all right. They're going to do this once. And the button on the right. All right. Layout. I want alignment. Other. Is pulled left, is pulled right. Oh, let's try that over here first. So we've got our buttons here. Is primary. Is pulled right. Glad we did that there. Here, a break from a day of Final Fantasy 14. They're up to 14. You got a day off and thought you needed something that doesn't come with real life consequences if you screwed up for once. That's fantastic. Is pulled right. Is that moves an element to the right? So what does is pulled right do to this thing? Float right, important. And we need is clear fix. Still nothing. Oh, because the width is on this might not be 100%. No, it is. It's 500. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't work there. Man, I love the development thing. Display inline? Maybe. No. I mean, I thought this would be enough. It's being floated right. I think the problem is the container. Well, it's not a flex box. Guess we could use flexbox here, but that'd be a little. It's, that doesn't exist. Um, float right should have just worked. Clear both content display. Oh, why is this? Oh, it's display flex. Really? Oh, okay. There are some rules we didn't see. So in the container, we've got buttons. Where are you? Come on, buttons. Button, colors, etc. Buttons. You have different sizes for buttons. Button add-ons. Oh, interesting. Button group with add-ons. A list of buttons is right. Hmm. All right. So it's on the parent. So instead of is clear fix, is right. Do that. Then we get rid of is pulled right here. Ah, there we go. Something like that. Those are buttons. And that should be it. Give that a reload before it finishes compiling. And then, wow, the stream has been really, really solid with the bitrate today. Really solid. Okay, reload. Again. Did I put that on the wrong element? Oh, it's not there. But it did compile. Reload. 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 Rebuild. Sometimes it doesn't pick up the change, and I don't know why. Yeah, I think they're trying to kind of separate modifiers from the other pieces. So it's supposed to read like buttons is right. And I think that's what they're going for. Like here. Oops. Let's drag that over. Actually, I want the layout different. There. So here you're supposed to be able to read it, right? Panel or container is max desktop, right? Columns is centered. Column is half desktop. I think it's just supposed to flow better when you read across the classes. That in this one I've put two things together here. It's a panel and a container. Actually, do we need the container anymore? Okay, so we have that on the right. Because this can just go away now, can't it? Yes, it can. Then we just have our padding. And that there is probably supposed to be a section. Let's make it a section. Component. Here it is. Looks cluttered. Yeah. Good morning. All new to the stream, Parzival. That sounds like a character in something. Parzival. What is that a character from? Oh, I don't remember. What are we doing? We are working on something called mimeograph. So, it's from a book, yes. I don't remember. I don't remember the book, though. But it sounds so familiar. I mean, it's not like. I mean, for me, the sense is like it's coming from the realm of like Howl's Moving Castle, like in that direction. I don't know. My mental library is broken up into like fiction, anime, um, computer science. But yeah, Parzival. Oh, that's gonna bug me until I figure that out. Um, let's say this is a section. It's also got. It's also columns. Oh, I put that on the wrong one. Should be this one. Section. Then we have to have the class section. Huh. Oh, Percival, the story of the Grail. Yes. Uh, yes. Actually, it's from this book. Geo exited. Thank you for the follow. Huh. That's cool. Not not the book I was expecting though. I don't think I've read that one. All right. Hopefully that has reloaded. Now we'll have section. Yeah, that works. That's nice. So this is our little setup screen. Okay. Still on mobile. We would suffer through that on mobile. Let's say we've got an iPhone. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Okay. Ready Player One. Yes, I watched that. And I read the book. Actually read the book. That's right. It's from the book. Ready Player One. That's the one I'm thinking of. I have to admit, the book, so much better. So much better than the movie. That almost looks like a login. Yeah, just about. This is our little setup here. I know it's very bright. Now it's like way too dark. We need some sort of contrast between the dialogue because the shadow doesn't really carry very well. Now this is mostly for text coloring, background color. I want like a gray. How about just has background light? What would that look like? Oh, but then we get no. Then we'd have to do this one. Oh, that's strange. Why did that other one go away? Oh, it's because the section covers the whole background and the body's not full height. I don't really care for fixing that right now, so we'll just refresh. Okay. That and the caching. Let's re-enable the caching. There we go. I'm a little bugged that this keeps fetching. So why is this caching? Or why is this not caching? No cache information. The headers. Oh, well, that's favicon. This one is the one I care about. So it's getting this from CD and JS here. I mean, it's tiny. The headers are larger than that. Accept encoding, allow timing. Max age. Oh, it is cached. Why is it showing it that way then? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I've got a little email icon in there. Got all that stuff set up. That's looking all right. Okay. Am I a student or a professor? I am kind of a principal engineer. So I've been programming for 20 plus years, but I'm not a student or a professor, but I'm a mentor. Yeah, I mentor people at work. When is the movie better than the when is it? When was the movie better than the book? Oh goodness. I think I mean they went all out on the visual effects on that. Professor in Your Heart. Oh, Xenocron, thank you. I I mean, the movie cut characters, they cut plot lines, they did so much. I can't say that there was something in the movie that I liked better than the book. Yeah, that was the movie. Like if yeah, no, mm, not that one. Some oh, when was the movie better than the book? Okay, The Princess Bride. Carrie Lewis. He added to that, right? Um, like his performance was just magical in that. Uh, we've read The Princess Bride, and I think they were so true to the book in that movie that it's there are places where the movie did better than the book and The Princess Bride, like The Shining. Oh, The Shining. Oh, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. Um, I don't think that so. The Shining in the book actually touches on the whole Stephen King universe. And the Stephen King universe, right? They get the shimmerings, right? And the shimmerings, well, I mean this it's gonna be weird, but the Shining is also connected to um oh the wheel the dark the black what is it called oh that movie that just came out with what was it Ira Elbus, I'm butchering his name probably, um but with the cowboy I'm totally missing the name on this, but oh my goodness, that is my favorite series in like his whole works. And once you actually get through that series and you go back, The Dark Tower. Thank you, Ice Popo. Idris Elba. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I know I was butchering his name. Um, but once you get through The Dark Tower and all the little sub stories, because there are actually short stories that are part of that series, and when you get through that and you go and you then look at The Shining or oh, what was the famous vampire one? Um, they're all part of the same universe and they're all connected together, which is crazy to think that like he's just been writing stories from a single universe that is stacked on top of itself, which is just insane. The amount of uh, how clever he's been to weave all that together. It and then you start to see crossovers where you'll have like the same monsters in multiple places because they can move between. It's crazy. Yeah, the clown one. Yeah, the clown one. The clown is really a shapeshifter, right? And they explain that in the Dark Tower. Yeah, Pennywise. Yeah, it's funny. My kids and I we share a an Audible account, and because they like to go through some of the books that I've gone through, but they stay away from all the Stephen King stuff. Thank you. Thank you. I think what the Shining did, and what they did with the book, was that they made it feel more like there's spirits, right? When that's not the case, right? It's actually the shimmering that's happening. Um, and I think the Shining, well, yeah, and the Shining, they're actually talking about um, the kid's ability to understand the Stephen King universe, right? They're almost like clairvoyance in a way, and that's what they call the shimmering. It's not really clairvoyance. There's a twist on it, but I don't want to give it anything away. Um, but yeah, if you think of The Shining and all of like the monsters and stuff in there, um, imagine that it's just simply two like a multiverse. Imagine the world is a multiverse, but they're like really close together, and occasionally they touch and they intersect, and then they come back apart, right? And then you can have things cross over from one to the other, like vampires or some of these monsters, from it, right? Pennywise. It is. I mean, I've probably gone through 70 of his books now. No, no, no. That was the other guy. I went, but at the time I'd gone through every Stephen King book and every I forget his the other guy. Oh, and Parzival. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, this is a good one. Nice upbeat. So, which book shall I start with then? Oh, The Dark Tower. I'd go through The Dark Tower first. Because once you have kind of like the spine of the universes, like that's the piece that connects everything together. And then you go through and you read the other books. What was the vampire one? Yeah, what was the vampire book? Salem's Lot. Yeah, Salem's Lot. That one. Yeah. Because then when you read these, everything is actually different, right? Because sure, yeah, there's vampires, yada yada, but after you've gone through the Dark Tower, it's different. All right, so now we need to create the data for processing this, the form post on this. All right, so that's actually looking pretty good. We've spent more time styling that up than anything else. But I think now that we start to get through here, we're going to be doing a lot more of that. All right. Now, at this point, we need to do a couple things. Okay. Parse the form data. Um, create a user. Create an owner as a user. And then here, remove the KV for setup. All right. So you're going to do that. We should probably check that admin setup exists. I'm going to ignore the race condition that if two people submit at the same time, then we have an issue. Actually, in this case, if two people do this at the same time within a minute, there'll be an issue. So there's a possibility that a hacker could, within a minute, create a second account. All right, so we need to do those pieces there. And in this case, we need to make sure that... Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. There's a fine line between numerator and a denominator. Now, when you tell a joke, we do include them here. We will eventually have... Eventually. Oh, interesting. Gotta fix that eventually. Ooh, with a follow-up. Oh, I like that. Oh, nice one. I like that. Only a fraction of people will get this clean joke. Okay, so first we need to check that it exists. If it exists, parse form data. I mean, parsing the form data is not going to hurt anyways. But we definitely don't want to create a new owner. So we might as well do the check here. So how do we do that? We've got some tools here for interacting with KV. So we're going to do a fetch. And really all we care about is that we get something back. All right, fetch. We await that, and we get a something back. KV. Oh, Kate, yeah. KV from crate. Fetch. Event.env. Dot. Wait. That's a property. Now in this case, this env has pages. So we need to get that KV namespace here. Or that KV. It's not called a namespace. They switched to calling them namespaces up here. Although it kind of feels like it's really a namespace. So we're going to fetch from pages. We have to give it the precise path to that. And that is slash admin dot setup.json. Actually, if it's none, we're going to bail early. Not handled? Yeah, not handled. We'll just return that. You want to borrow that? That's fine. You can borrow it. Give you to fetch. Mm. AV.fetch takes something that is of type can fetch because it is going to do a dine into for that. Let's choose something that's cheap. Maybe stream. Oh, here. Readable stream. That way we don't even have to wait for the data because we're never going to read the data. They'll stream that back to us. Am I into robot operating system programming also? I've done very briefly some embedded programming, and I thought that was a lot of fun. I think that would be just a great thing to get into. You're actually a mech student and want to get started programming because it's necessary. Yeah, to some places I would I recommend. Oh, interesting. Hmm. Oh, that's. Do you know programming at all? Yeah, having because that's going to change things here. Like basic to advanced. Yeah, yeah. Do you, I mean, what programming have you done? Dr. Dynamite. Dr. Dynamite. Thank you for that follow. All right, now we parse the form data. We actually have to create a user here. Oh, none. Okay, so like clean slate. Um, and how much how much do you understand about how computers work? Like as a mech student, we're talking mechanical engineering. To some extent. Okay. And Python should be good for mech student. It depends on what your target is. After that, you go for C to Rust. See, I know that a lot of people say don't start with Rust, but I've actually had a really good really good luck teaching my kids Rust, right? And they don't understand programming at all. Um, so let me see if I can find the book that I think helped them. Um, so basically, it teaches you program. Yeah, you want to develop yourself, you know, and I don't know, like I I might actually suggest starting in Rust. There's two books, right? And basically, especially because you're going to mechanical engineering, I think that like if you're doing like embedded stuff, right? Like let's say you had one of these guys. This is a big tree tech, little board. Pulled this out the other day. This is for my 3D printer, right? But this thing's pretty cool. It's got lots of little doodads and whatnots on it. You got power. You can basically control motors and stuff like that with this. It's got a little card. So you basically toss this micro SD card, toss your program on there, load it up, run. Right? Um, a lot of these end up running like a like an Arduino board, but I actually want to run something special on this. a timing-based 3D printer system. So I think you could actually program quite a few things with Rust, but I think you're going to be jumping really far into the deep end really quick. Well, I mean, you could start. Actually, that might be interesting too, because you could do Arduino C. Do I use Vim? Yes, I do. I use a lot of Vim, NeoVim specifically. Um, actually, there was even like a there was a humble bundle with Arduino stuff, right? What do you guys think of learning to program hardware via Arduino? What's the difference between Vim and NeoVim? It's the way that they interact with their plugins, right? And then NeoVim has some extra stuff on top. You can basically use Lua for scripting. Let's see. 0. Oh, I thought they had one forever ago. Do they not search through their history? Filter none, sort by best selling. Oh, colors. NeoVim supports true color. I wonder, what is the state of Rust and Arduino? Yeah, it can be compiled to ARM. Arduino and Rust, prerequisites, patience, willingness to learn. Understand the struggle will be real and painful. Thank you, Clippy. Can I have another? Yeah, okay. Too soon. Help needed. Yeah, see, there's embedded Rust. We have. Let's look at the Rust embedded site. Oh, there's an embedded Rust book. The Embedonomicon. Oh, wow. No standard QEML hardware. Let's look at the hardware. A Cortex M3. Oh, this is neat. But it looks like there's quite a bit that you can set up with. Reporting behind the scenes. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about Rust is that it's very compatible, like for loading and for DLLs, all that stuff. For like, if you could probably do drivers just fine. Huh. All right. Actually, I've got some Arduino stuff lying around. We might end up playing around a little bit with that. We'll have to see. Oh, that's never gonna happen. I mean, C++ is gonna be like COBOL, right? And Rust. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. Oh, let me prove all those. Okay. What was the last status on Legacy? Oh goodness, that's been a while, Turbo Dave. I know. I want to get back to it too. Um, the nice thing about the current project is that yeah, Legacy's on the back burner. In C or Rust, I would start in Rust because I don't think you have to understand C in order to understand Rust. In fact, I think starting in C is just going to hurt. As long as the hardware that you can play with is going to work with Rust. I mean, C can target so many more microcontrollers than Rust can. That's just the way it is. Yeah. COBOL still used because of huge, huge code bases. Absolutely. I here I would suggest popping into the Discord and just starting with something, right? Start very basic. Start by going through the Rust book. And if you have questions, reach out to us. And and if you understand how the microcontrollers and everything are set up, then like how hardware works, right? Let me see if I can find something. It's my books. Is it in desktops or documents? I had my books in the wrong directory. The one I was looking for. Let me fix that for a moment. Okay. So I also thought this one was really good. Hands-on Rust. Basically, effective learning through 2D game development and play. I mean, it's fun. This is one that I'm taking my kids through. So, and they start with some very low level stuff, right? Input functions, game loop stuff, right? Kind of gives you an introduction to Rust via game development. So that one's really good. And then the one from nostarch.com. What was that one? I actually tried logging in the other day and I couldn't. I'm going to try logging in again. Oh, interesting. They're protected by Cloudflare DDoS stuff. Log in. Yeah, Rust for Rustations. Okay. Let me move that into my book. That way I can find it again next time. I've got another copy of this and I don't know where it is. Okay. This one I thought was really cool. I'm still going through this one. Rust for Rustations. Basically, I have these chapters here done already. But they end up talking about memory and, yeah, talking about memory. So they start to explain things from kind of a hardware perspective at first. And they don't go very far into the hardware. Um, Abdeen, um, how was game dev with WASM and Rust? Um, I think I think there's a library that lets you do GPU stuff with it. Um, I don't know, rough how WASM plus game dev is. I know I've seen some people using it though. Found this interesting on first programming language that you can learn and its effects. Oh, interesting. Hey, y'all. All right. Well, hmm. Gonna close some of these. Actually, I want to look at this one here. I think I saw that come through the other day. Where was that on like Hacker News? All right. Gonna store that one. Toss down the reading list. Okay, I want Combinator. Cool. So we come back here. Gonna deal with the post. Parse the form data. How do we do that? Post data. Oh no. I want to parse. How are we using that? Oh, we just call post data on event? Event.post data. Okay. Size limit. Something small. That'll wait. And this will return what? That's going to return an option. Okay. No, it's a result. So if we get an error from this, what should we do? This means that the form data just was not accepted at all. We could just say, hey, this wasn't handled. It's a hack attempt or something like that. We just ignore it. I don't really want to do that though. How would this error turns an option to post data if read body failed? Edit anyways. What did I get? That's possible. Or if we couldn't parse it. See, I just don't think this is going to happen. No, I don't want to abort on that. No, 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 no. Doing less of that. Because aborting actually screws up the state for this. So any requests that come in after that can't be processed. So we want to avoid aborting. So maybe we just return an error. Say, okay, this was handled. Here's your error. Earn. There we go. Now in this case, we've got an option. So we've got, okay, some or okay, none. Now in the case of, let's split those out. None. We're going to redirect. And we'll have a flash on there. So event dot flash warn. Flash error. Well, how does that even happen where they do a post but not include anything? This is more of a return error. Get it required. Don't care. Okay. So if we do have some value, and value here is post data, let's move this in here. Okay. So we create the owner as a user. Oh, you know what? We can remove these returns now. Now in this case, we want the email, email equals value.get email. This is from that form. That returns an option to a string. Okay. Password. Now, if either of these do not exist, then we have to give back some other error. If either of those are none, then event dot response to redirect to the location. And this is always going to be the same. Admin setup. /share. Oh, and this is a place where we could actually try storing some cookie data with error messages for form errors. Do we do the validation or return the error from the form? So that we don't refill the form? Yes. Yes, we do. So what we had been doing before was event dot now dot cookie jar add. There, it's add. Email value is going to be cow owned. This is if email exists though. Because in this case, one of them was not defined. So if let some. So if that exists, I'll say, yeah, got that. Actually, is email borrowed here? It is borrowed. Okay. And the duration. They shouldn't need more than 5 seconds to hit the redirect. We could do like 30 or something. Am I missing a paren here? No. Oh, this. Expected a block. Equals email. There we go. We'll do the same thing for password. Okay. Now, if we don't have this error or this thing, we should set something else. Email error. If we do this, then we also need to clear those. Okay. I feel like we need some sort of middleware for this, right? Like, hey, you've got some sort of form data. Let's just make a little fix me. All right, then we redirect back to that location into, oh, in fact, remove some of those cows. Okay. We're not going to do a flash error on that because we are going to do form field errors. All right. Redirect fails. We're going to bail. That's fine. Okay. I like the idea of having something that can do the validation for us, right? And that would do a redirect back to where they came from with certain things filled in. That would be really nice. That way we know when it gets in here that it does exist. Is anybody Indian in my channel? You're just curious to know. Anyone encountered into your stream? I don't know. I mean, they have some stats and stuff I can look at, but I generally don't look at where people are from. As compilers are colorblind. Um, it's international. Yeah. All right. Now, at this point, we still haven't created our user. But if this fails, what do we do? Or yeah, we'll just add it on the template on the server. So the template's actually going to need to know about these as well. So we're going to be coming up with some other pattern here where we can start to have utility functions for our form fields. So those can be those can show errors, etc. Right. Do I have any game streams? I do not play. I did play Bloody Rally Show once. All right. Unfortunately, it is time for me to actually get to my day job. I'm having too much fun with this, and seeing where this is ending up. I think next time we might actually start to build out this, right? Form data validation and middleware. Right. So why do we use cookies? Isn't there something like template context we can pass, like Ruby on Rails or Rocket? Well, I don't have anything to store it on the back end, right? I don't have session data to store it in. I could use durable objects as session storage, but that's going to be one more request. And we were looking at it at the trade-offs, and I don't think it's actually worth it. So we're using cookies to be able to communicate from one request to the next, because it's not guaranteed that the the worker that is handling this request is going to be handling the page generation for the next one. Oh, you're learning so much from my streams for your project. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. All right. Yeah, I got work questions coming in. We gotta get going. Uh, we're gonna use what stream? That's a tool built in Rust that museum built. I can't believe it's not Rust. Oh, we could raid Toggy or Togglebit, as everybody else should refer to him. I don't know. Just Loge. What do we raid Loge? We haven't raided them before. There we go. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna let that count down. I am going to join you on the raid. Yeah, and I'm going to be thinking about the form validation stuff today while I crank out my JavaScript. So, I'm going to do a quick little peek. Twitch.tv slash. Because every now and then I raid somebody that's like gone to lunch or something, and I just want to make sure. Oh. Actually, we got like 3 people on the. Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. All right. Here we go. Till next time, y'all. Bye bye.